Hello and welcome to another Kangaroo English Daily Digest podcast. My name is Christian and today is Tuesday, best day of the week. And today everything is just peachy. Peachy is today's word of the day, and today's word of the day is really interesting because it tells us about our obsession with fruit in English. No, it tells us about a little bit about humanity, about where words come from, about the history of the world. It tells us about all of the things that make language really fascinating and interesting. And it also tells us about how we form adjectives in English. So before we begin, I just want to say that if you want to sponsor free English education, then you can become my patron on Patreon. You'll find links for that, and also for the Facebook group, YouTube channel, Instagram, and everything else on my website at kangarooenglish.com. Okay, so the word of the day is peachy, and I said that everything today is peachy. Peachy means that everything is fantastic, great, wonderful. That's only partially true because unfortunately at this time of year I suffer from hay fever, which means that, you know, when a specific type of grass pollinates, I have all of the horrible symptoms that people who have allergies will know about, like itchy eyes, runny nose, swollen face. Like I look like I'm from that Will Smith movie. So everything is, apart from that, everything is peachy. Now, first let's look at the structure of the word. So we have peach with Y, peachy. And it's just a reminder that if you want to make an adjective in English, the easiest way to do that is to just add a Y to any noun. You take a noun, you add a Y, now it's an adjective. And you can do that to words that shouldn't even be adjectives. Like, who's your favorite singer? My favorite singer is Taylor Swift. And then you hear a new group and you say, wow, that sounds really Taylor Swifty, right? So you're turning the name Taylor Swift into an adjective. It's quite a Taylor Swifty sound. You can do it with anything. Like, for example, the peach, peachy. Now, why would a peach be associated with good? Well, I mean, look at the fruit. Look at the shape of it. It's got a beautiful, round kind of shape. And, you know, remember that a lot of language, a lot of great literature, a lot of great poetry is all about the female body. And, you know, the peach has that kind of you know, curvaceous, voluptuous characteristic, and so therefore, you know, it's good. It's a great thing. You know, the peach is the Kim Kardashian of the fruit world, and so everything's peachy. Also, you know, the color of it, the beautiful kind of soft, orangey and yellowy colors that mix together, the soft, slightly furry skin, you know, the delicious, juicy flesh, you know, when you bite into it. Peaches are just great. That's why everything's peachy. And there are other fruits that we use in English in a similar way, like plums. You can say everything is plummy. Plummy is slightly different. Plummy is more about something being particularly good out of a selection of different things. So for example, you could say that he has a plummy new job. A plummy new job. So out of all of the jobs that you could possibly have, he has this job which is really plummy. It's a great choice. And again, you know, the plum, it's a delicious fruit. It's, you know, it's juicy and it's got a great color and it's sort of, you know, soft, and everybody likes plums, I think. So plummy. Also cherries. Cherries are another favorite, sort of positive fruit. When you want to say that life's great, you could say, well, life is just a basket of cherries at the moment. Basket of cherries. If something's really great, you can say, well, that is just the cherry on top. I had a great birthday. All my friends came over, drank lots of champagne, and the cherry on top was that I got a great present. Or my girlfriend got down on bended knee and proposed to me. That was the cherry on top, for example. And if you're talking about, and this is something very important in this age of selective information, of fake news, right? Is the idea of cherry picking. Cherry picking means you only take the information that is relevant to help your argument. So, maybe when I'm arguing with you about the death penalty, should we kill people for doing bad things? Well, I can just cherry pick statistics that help my argument and ignore all of the statistics that don't. That's cherry picking. Because the cherries are the good things, right? And then we have then we can move on to some bad fruits, right? Like you can have sour grapes. If you have sour grapes, it means you're kind of bitter and resentful and regretful about something. Like she has sour grapes about missing out on that job. And another negative would be the bad apple. We consider apples to be a good fruit in general. We like apples. Apples are, a biblical, iconic fruit. And to be a bad apple in the bunch of all the good apples, it's just not, it's just not good. Maybe your son or daughter, they're really good, but they're hanging out with some bad apples. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful of that. And what's interesting about some of these fruity kind of what could we say, metaphors, is that they also they show us about how words can change depending on where the fruit or the vegetable or the food comes from. So, for example, if we go back and look at our peach, in a lot of European languages, peach is the same as the word for Persian. People from Persia, because the fruit was being imported and sold by Persian people, so people just called it Persian fruit, when actually it's not from Persia at all. It's actually from China. And it's a similar story with the turkey. We call it turkey in English because it was being sold by Turkish traders, but it's not from Turkey. If you look at French, they call it dinde, which means from India. The turkey is not from India either. But again, it was being sold, and imported by people from India. You can look at tea and chai, depending on which country you're in. If the tea came overland, if it came sort of through India, it became chai, and if it went the other way and it came via the ocean, it became tea. So you have like a tea-chai kind of split. And the same with lemon and citron. The word, a lot of European countries took the word lemon or some type of variation of lemon, and a lot of other countries took citron. And ironically, we actually have a fruit in English called the citron, which has nothing to do with lemons, just to make life more complicated. So this little fruity metaphor of life being peachy can actually really tell us a lot about the English language, about the history of the world, about how we make adjectives, about everything. So that's why life's peachy today. That's why Tuesday's the best day of the week. I hope you all have a good one. Don't forget to practice your English today and have some fun and use it for communication. I hope you enjoyed this Daily Digest. I'm Christian, and I will see you in class.